games for 200 global partners, earning 20 international awards, with service spanning full cycle development, game art, porting, and gamification. So please give her a warm round of applause. The time is yours.
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm Sheni. I'm from Agate. So Mr. Devi has very kindly shared my quick resume. So probably like I'm giving first the brief introduction about Agate. So we are a game studio based in Bandung. Actually, we started in 2009, and then nowadays we are developing more like PC console game with premium business model. Premium meaning that like you buy directly from the Steam or like PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, and then you like own the game. Basically, you can play like all like um, as often as you want. Basically, how to next going to the slide. Yeah. So today, I think I'm gonna share a little bit about our experience in Agate, my experience in Agate on thriving in the game industry. Next. Do you have the clicker or anything like that? Yeah, okay. So first, I'm gonna start with Agate journey in the past 16 years, actually. Next. Yeah, so I think this is already a bit mentioned about our experience, and so far we have developed more than 300 games. Right now we have like around 200 skilled professionals, meaning like combination between like game programmers, game artists, game designers, game producers, testers, and like a lot of like domain involved in game development. And we have 5 locations in terms of representative. So we have representative in the US, Canada, Germany, South Korea, and Indonesia. Uh, Basically, like outside of Indonesia, right now it's more like for business development purpose. Um, for example, right now we are working with quite a lot of European publishers and developers as well to help them on saving their costs on game development, because right now one of our major advantage of being located in Indonesia is that our cost is very much competitive compared to other countries like more advanced countries, especially. And right now on our thank you. So let's test it out. Okay. Perfect, thank you. So right now on our boat, we have a lot of talents, like very experienced talents. I would say we are, aside from being the largest studio in Indonesia, we also have the most senior talents with one of the best fundamentals in Southeast Asia, actually. And some of them have already been involved in working in AAA titles. We call it in the game industry, which is like, for example, like Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, and like The Last of Us and Diablo, and other AAA titles as well, in the capacity of like being a game artist, mainly, and also some of them also involved in the production, like general production function as well. And then moving on into like, should we play the video from the slide? Okay. Probably it needs to be click from there. It's better. So this is a show reel of our game. So some of the games I will explain a little bit more later in this talk. So before I continue, can I know from the participants here attending on site, like who are currently at least have a little bit thinking of working in the game industry after you graduate? No one? Is there anyone? So why are you here? Is there anyone like like at least a little bit? Okay, thank you. Just one, and then the others. Okay, so probably at least you have a little bit more information about game industry after this. Well, probably can you help to push next? Okay, so this is our journey so far. So we started in 2009, like Mr. Devi mentioned, started with 18 co-founders actually when we were still in the university in our final year. So we started with bootstrapping, like starting with like a very limited capital. Yeah, like a student's money, yeah, pocket money. And we also most of us studied in a public university, so most of us are not coming from a rich family, so we have a very little pocket money. Uh, so it's only like a hundred million rupiah capital actually to start the company. And then so we have a very limited capital, so that's why even after we graduate, then actually like in the final year, not officially graduated, we started working full time in the company. Even then, we can only pay all the full time salary maximum like $10 per month. $10 with the currency back then was 10,000, so meaning only like 100,000 rupiah, yeah. 100,000 rupiah, if you compare it now, you can only buy like one cup of Starbucks and then that's it, right? Then you have to starve like for the rest of the month. But yeah, anyway, so we started bootstrapping to start the company. And we were pretty lucky back then because we actually started the company without even realizing. Back then was like a shift in the game industry where before 2009 most of gamers that we can like stereotype of gamers is actually a small kid like playing alone in his room in like probably back then like PlayStation 2 maybe, um, or maybe in his computer, right? But like in 2009 there was a shift where there was the emerging of social games. Like probably back then you were still in your primary schools maybe or kindergarten, I don't know. Like Mafia Wars, like Facebook games, basically, right? Like Farmville, those kind of stuff. And then it was a major shift because it changed the demographic of gamers from like a very niche market where like I mentioned, like a hardcore gamers, like small boys, right? Like into like housewife that are bored in their home, right? And then they start to play games like these Facebook games, and then moving on into like smartphone and all that. Like a lot of change happening back then, which was a good thing for a new company like us because it means that there are a lot of new opportunities for us to tap into. For example, we started with like a very mature market for flash games back then. I'm not sure, like you're too young probably to know about flash games. Flash games, yes, flash games is games that you can play on a web browser, and then it was monetized using advertising, basically like from through Google. But basically you play it on the web browser, and then we started like doing that. But because of this shift, then there was a new opportunity for us to tap into like brands, for example, like ice cream brands, car brands that they want to reach out to new market, which means that like young people that are like started playing these web browser games, and then they want to raise awareness to them, right? And then they see Facebook games, social games are a new media for them to tap into, like for advertising or promoting their products. So this is like definitely what keeps us afloat back then. So we can generate revenue, and then yeah, basically like increase our salary, and then after a year of operation of Fagate, then we can start that to pay the full-time employees at least minimum wage of Bandung. Back then, it was only like a 1.3 million rupiah, yeah, back then. And then moving on, because we practically like really try to survive as a company, then eventually we had an opportunity to be pitching our games, one of our games back then, to Electronic Arts, one of the subsidiary, and then we got a publishing deal with them, and then that's when we started to also build the brand of the company as one of the leading game company back then, because back then it's also like not so many game companies as well back then. And then we started to be noticed by bigger company like Square Enix, when back then they also see this new shift into like web browser games and online games based on the PC browser. And then that's why they had a strategic initiative to expand to Indonesia market. And then back then, of course, they are looking for local partners that they can work together with for this strategic initiative. Then we were pretty lucky that we can be like chosen as their partner here, and then it really boosts our like existence like as a brand, especially not only Indonesia but also outside of Indonesia. And then people start to notice about Agate, right? Know who are we, and then yeah, and then it started rolling basically. And then we did also had a successful game. I would say, arguably, it was our I mean, like first successful game back then. It was Football Saga. It is a PC browser game as well, and then focusing on Indonesia market. That is really, you know, like to like football. There are a lot of football fans here, and then we see the opportunity, so that's why we make this Football Saga game. And then after that, we started growing our, we call it B2B, combination between B2B and B2C business, consumer games and gamification, where for the consumer games, we basically helping other companies, other game studios to develop their games, or we develop our own products and then we market it into the end users. And for B2B business, we also kept growing and then expanding the use case of gamification, which started as a promotion tools, right, in the social games, and then moving on into like more like game-based assessments, training, and then like talking with HR people like of a big corporates, how to, you know, like assess their applicants when they were applying into a company using games. So basically, right now in, for example, PT Astra International, when they tested when they test their applicants, they will ask you they will be asked to play games basically for 30 minutes. I think so, 30 minutes. And then at the end of the play session, there will be an assessment report whether this person has a culture fit with Astra, has a good persistence, that is, you know, like good enough for them to hire like these applicants. So it's very interesting because like young people, they play games, right? And then using games, they're not even aware that they are being tested basically. So that is the value of game-based assessment. So this kind of example of how games can be used for different use cases, even for business purpose. And then moving on, in 2018 we started to develop our first like PC console games, which was our dream initially, why we started this company in the first place. And then we were, again, we're pretty lucky because this game also riding a wave back then. In 2018 was the first Nintendo Switch release, and then they need like more contents, more quality games, right? And then we basically release in a good timing, basically. And then actually that's one of the key success factor why the game was pretty successful. And then later on we started our like more game development in more growing space as well, like free to play mobile games. And then we did also started games riding into like the Web3 trends, like a metaverse trend. But turns out it was not working so well because like Web3 and at least the motivation of Web3 enthusiasts with gamers are very different. So that's why it has not worked so well actually for Web3 games. But basically right now we are mostly back, like I mean, shift back to our main focus on developing um, very quality, high quality entertainment games, and also still doing gamification business because we believe that there are still a lot of use cases for games to be, like add value for serious purpose other than entertainment. And then these are some of the clients that we have worked in the past. So we work with Square Enix and Epic Games, and then probably like King. Actually, it's a fun fact where we started work with King actually like 15 years ago before Candy Crush. So we are that old. So, and then later on, I think we started working with Razer as well, the what is it, the peripheral brand. And then yeah, so basically for their promotion purpose. And then right now our business focus as Agate is we have four main divisions. The first one is full cycle development, meaning we have the capability to develop games from nothing, from ideas into like full release, and then we can also provide like post-release support as well, like community management, store optimization, user acquisition, and all that. And then for game art and the game porting is actually a partial service that we provide with other clients, game studios, game publishers, because for example, a lot of game studios in Europe, they need like cost-effective solutions to scale their art production team. So we can provide them for that. And actually, we have one recurring client from Korea as well. They also pretty happy with our capability on 3D modeling, so that's why we keep working with them. And then for game porting, it means that we provide service to expand their platform. Typically, like the main use case is games on PC platform expanding into Switch, Xbox, and all the other consoles. And then for gamification, like I mentioned, right, like we develop gamified or game-based solutions for many kind of use cases, from VR games to introduce features of like car brakes, the importance of like a high quality car brakes in your driving safety. So those kind of random use cases, but very interesting because the game was so fun, right? Like VR, you basically like experience near that experience because of a low quality break. So that's those kind of stuffs, cool stuffs that we are doing. And then we also have Agate Academy, where we work with a lot of universities. I think one of them, I believe, is BINUS as well, where we um, open vacancy for interns, and also we work together to have joint courses, and then like competitions, game prototypes competitions, mentoring, right? Like in regards to game industry, of course. And then, oh, sorry. No, okay. I think we can skip this out. Oh, yeah. So probably I'll share you a little bit about what games are we making, right? And then this is actually Restorm is our biggest budget project so far. We started this out in 2021 officially, and then until now it hasn't been released yet. So we will release this, I think, 2027, like in 2 years. So it means that it will take almost 6 years, yeah, to make this. Too long. It should be faster, actually. Should have been faster. So, but basically, so far, even though this game hasn't been released yet, we actually did release a demo version of this on Steam Next Fest last June, and actually we are very happy that it got into the top 50 most played game globally among all the 2,000 games that joined the Steam Next Fest back then. So it was pretty something because that is the first Indonesian game actually to reach that top rank in Steam Next Fest. So this game is actually Diablo with guns. So top down, you control your characters, enter dungeons, collecting loots. But this one is co-op, so you play with your friends, 3 players, and then instead of melee or using like long-term, not long-term, short-form combat, you use guns basically, shooter. And then, so this is our most anticipated game actually in the next few years. And also this is our game that is smaller scale. And then we are not that nationalistic, but we see there is the potential to use the Balinese Southeast Asian visual culture to instill the uniqueness of this game visual. So that's why it resembles um, Bali aesthetic in the level design. And we also have bosses. One of them is kind of like a Barong inspired bosses. We actually work with the concept artists of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So that's why the style is also very much inspired by that game as well. This one will be released, I think, in 2027 as well. Yeah. So for the game-based solution, the gamification, we have worked with like a lot of companies basically from like government agencies like the Australian government, one of the ministry, banking, and then like telco company, like non-profit organization, like you name it. So I think we have worked with them all, um, like with different use cases. But I think it's very interesting because right now, even until now, there are a lot of new use cases for games to add value for. For example, oh sorry. So this is the use cases for like if we group it to make it easier to understand. For example, for promoting products online and offline, we call it on-ground activations. And then we have advert games where I'll share a little bit more after this. And then learning use cases where, like I mentioned, we work with HR of companies or learning department of companies to be able to give them more cost-effective and also more engaging solution for training their employees. And also for assessment is basically to give them a more accurate assessment for applicants or for mainly for applicants. But right now we are also experimenting to assess like students, like minat bakat, what is it? Like talents, right? To identify talents in primary students using game-based assessment as well. So basically these students will only like play the game, but at the end of the play session, they will get the report, like indicating that, hey, you're talented in language, right? And those kind of stuff. And then VR as well, like I mentioned. And then like this is a more specific use case. For example, we work with Tokopedia, GoPay, um, with the goal to increase their engagement in their apps because it is proven the more traffic, more engagement, people coming to the application that they have, uh, it will lead to more transaction, which of course like it translates to their business metrics. So that's why we work with them to create all this interesting engagement, interesting games, so that the users will have more motivation to like keep checking their apps basically. And then we also make quite a lot of standalone advert games. For example, we work with Richie's Factory. basically we developed this game where the kids can purchase basically kids can play the games for free, but if they purchase something on Riches Factory, they can redeem something inside the game, right? And it creates some more motivation for the kids to like nag to their parents to buy more. But basically it creates like pretty successful success story, case study where it generates like 40,000 sales per month increase only because they released this game, and then it is proven to increase user motivation to buy for more basically. And then um, this is the training and learning application that we make. Like one of the example is where we work with Bank Jago to create financial literacy game for actually for university students, because a lot of university students don't really have good financial literacy, how to manage their money, right? To raise their awareness about investing, and then how to save money, like it's more basic thing. And then we try to instill these messages through games. So basically, it's not really, hopefully, it's not really, like giving you lecture, but you experience all this through the playing experience. And then this is the virtual reality training that I mentioned. This one is actually um, not car brakes, but car wipers, which, like similar that what I said is that this was supposed for internal employees, so the internal employees can empathize more on the importance of having a good quality car wipers that can, like a life saving basically. So for these internal employees to empathize more, they create this VR experience, and then later on, this VR experience is also can be played by the public actually. And then, yeah, so that's basically what we are doing so far. We have been doing in the past 16 years. So I think like if I were to pick one very important lesson learned is actually balance is key. So for example, right, like in our case in Agate, or I think like learning from other game studios in the industry as well. For example, market versus passion. What does it mean? For example, right, like if you typically like game studios is leaning into like either like very focused on the market, where for example when they want to create a game, they really see Sensor Tower or like a market statistic platform, what are the underserved or the opportunities there in the market, in the gaming market. And then they really focus on creating their game pitch or developing their games based on whatever market data that they can have, right? While on the other hand, there is a very passionate team where they only like don't care what is the market, uh, what is happening in the market. They don't care at all, and then they just focusing on what kind of games that they like to play, right? They're really focusing on the art. They're really focusing on the craft, right? I'm not saying that it's that bad, but what I'm saying here is that it's very important to balance a little bit. If you're coming into, it's okay if you're still leaning into one of the side, but it is very important for you, even though for example you start with your own, right? Because like I think like there is an increasing trend of solo developer where you really only focus on what you want to make. But it's very important for you to still be aware of at least what is happening, right? Like what platform is coming out, because like what I've already shared in the beginning of the presentation is that one of the key of success in business is timing actually. For example, what makes Agate can survive until now is one of the big thing is actually timing, where we started when the new platform is coming, right? The social games and all that. And then when we first releasing our first PC console game, back then it was the Switch, Nintendo Switch coming out. So timing is can make or break your business basically. So that's why even though you really focus on your like passion, your craft and all that, you still have to, like be aware of what's happening in the market. On the other hand, if you are leaning into like the like business mindset, like typically this one is coming from like a business major, like MBA kind of people. um, it's not good as well if you're only focusing on what is the market potential, because especially for games, like a creative industry, I think in general, it's very important for you to also passionate of like really care personally of what you are building. Because then, if it's only about market, then probably you won't care, you or your team won't care so much about the games anymore outside of working hour, for example, right? If you're like literally very passionate about your craft, right? Like even when you're sleeping, you're still thinking about this game you're making. So I think like in the increasing competition of in any industry, as the game industry as well, having that soul of really cares about your product is also very important. That because like this market data, everyone else also have the same access, right? If you're persist, especially because of ChatGPT, you can like at your fingertips, you can also like ask any questions that you have about the market, right? So if you have, if you don't have the soul, then you won't go anywhere as well. So it's very important to like balance all these two. And ambition capability, it actually about like balancing between what you want to make versus what you have as a what you're capable of. I think like one of the most major pitfall of a new developer, I'm talking about like entrepreneurship, right? Like when you want to start your own studio, right? Even though you're alone, of course, like it's low cost, right? You don't need to be paid, for example. You can still live with your parents and and all that. But still, if your ambition is too high, I think like the turning point is probably the first year after you work on this game that you want to make, right, for a year. After that, the honeymoon period is over, basically. And then you basically tired because it turns out that your goal is too high, you are too ambitious, not too ambitious. I mean, like the goal is basically too far fetched, and then you're not capable enough to reach that, and then you're too tired basically to continue, and then you start to like forget about the dream of working in the game industry, and then you started to like yeah, basically forget this dream that you are having. And then about big fishes, big fishes or small fishes, this is basically probably after you scale a little bit into bigger company, it's very important for you to be aware of where you are positioned in the market. For example, for Agate, right? Yes, we are still one of the leading company here in Indonesia as well in Southeast Asia. But I think it's like as Agate, like as a big, considerably big company like Agate, it's not enough to only be sufficient, being a big fish in a small pond, because we are nobody basically in the global game industry. So that's why you have to balance this as well, where yes, you have to nail a segment or a niche where you are the top leading in that region or in that segment. But at the same time, you have to always be aware of your nobody in the bigger ecosystem, and then you have plan on how to fill the gap so you basically can be bigger in this big pond basically. And then saving versus investing is also probably more relevant when you are bigger, when you already have some capital for you to like allocate in different stuffs that you're running in a company. But this is, I think, one of the major pitfall is where you are saving too much money because you want to survive as long as you want, but you forget to invest for the longer term. Because then if you're leaning dominantly, like too leaning into the saving part, for example, then like probably you will survive for the longest time, but you're going nowhere because you don't invest for the long term. um, and then you just basically like surviving for the sake of surviving, right? But for investing, you have to be aware as well to be financially diligent on where to invest, and then if you're investing um, good amount of money, but at the same time not too expensive, not too like far fetched of what you are capable of. And then game industry. probably if uh, s- Probably if any one of you don't know about the game industry, this slide is actually only telling about the game industry is bigger, even comparing with the music and movie industry combined. For example, in the music industry, this is actually a data that probably we need to update, but this data is still relevant at least in within the past 5 years. The biggest selling album in Indonesia is actually Peter Pan and Padi, right? Like then it was grossing 5 to 6 million US dollar lifetime. While for the movie industry, the best-selling movie right now is not up to date at all right now, but I think it's around 20 million tops, right? Like lifetime from ticket sales, basically, mainly. And then on the other hand, in Indonesia, like the biggest selling game right now is Free Fire. Free Fire, I think it's not the biggest selling right now, but I think like it's still in the top 10 biggest selling in Indonesia. It generates sales of 7 to 9 million US dollar, but it's monthly. And then it has been around for, I think, almost 10 years. So you can imagine like it's like very big, like compared to the best selling products in the um, adjacent industry. And then for game industry, the who are the stakeholders in the game industry? So the big one, of course, is game development, where Agate is at, and then the other one is game publishing. Game development is like very obvious is the one that makes the games, right? And for game publishing is the one who actually sell the game. So selling meaning that they are in charge on the how to present the games into the potential customers, potential gamers, and how to manage the community, how to build awareness to these potential players, and then probably if for games with live operation, then you have to like keep engaging these gamers to keep coming back for more, keep purchasing, right? And yeah, those kind of functions. And then other smaller stakeholders or function are game porting, like I mentioned, right? Like to expand the platform of each game. And then game media is the one that helping game publishers to build awareness of new coming games or even like ongoing games that needs to be maintained, the awareness. Game outsourcing is actually something that we are currently still doing as well, where we provide different kind of services for other game studios. Um, and then for esports is actually marketing tools as well for game publishers or game developers as well, actually, to be able to maintain or even grow awareness of each games, to be able to like because for example free fire tournament, right? Because of free fire tournament, because of the all the audience that watching free fire tournaments, then this audience will keep free fire their top of mind, like they will still remember free fire, right? And then they will watch um, online, they will watch like follow these players, right? Basically to keep these games in the top of mind of the players. And then if you're considering to start your own game studio or game projects, these are the big categories of games that you can consider. I would strongly recommend if you're just starting out, then you should focus on the smaller scale, which is the starting out phase, where probably maximum, at the very maximum, you should target for the game to be finished in 2 years. 1 year is the best actually, but 2 years is still okay. And then moving on into indie is more into like a team of up to 10 at maximum. Like 5 is I think the ideal target, but maximum you can go up to 10 people. And then for larger game is um, involving more than like 500 people even. Like it depends. Like range between like 100 until even like more than 1,000 people, like AAA. This is later down the road. Even Agate hasn't been doing any like AAA games. So for careers, other than starting your own studios or starting your own game projects, these are mainly I would say like the main role of game development, from the a game artist, game designer, programmer, which is more like a specialist role, and then shifting into like a more management role where you manage your own team, or you manage budget, or you manage your clients, partners, publishers, vendors, which is game producers, product managers, and like the leads of lead programmer, lead artist, lead designer. And then more into like the supporting our management role where has nothing to do with games in day-to-day activities, which is HR, finance, and business development, where you meet with potential partners, or probably like other stakeholders like PlayStation people, where you need their tools to be able to develop games for PlayStation, for example, like that. So how to start? Basically, it's I think similar to how you start in other industry as well. You have to set your goal, like end goal. It doesn't have to be something that you can achieve in 1 year or 2 years, but it can be, like a lifetime journey. But basically, you need to set your own goal if you want to work in a big corporate, or you want to, at the end of the day, start your own studio, right? And then after that, you need to look inward as well, where you are capable at, what is your strength, and then where you are going to go, basically, where you want to allocate your time to be able to develop your capability. And then after that, basically you do the work, right? You find courses, you find the community that can support your development as a person to be able to achieve your goal. And then most importantly as well is to actually do the work, meaning that you join internship in companies that you are looking up to. For example, I think like Indonesia, like other than Agate in Bandung, probably like Digital Happiness, the one that makes horror games. Or you can also, I think like right now it's very accessible. You can also join game jams, right? Like game competitions, basically to, like keep the momentum going. So then you can, like start to learn and then start to basically like, what is it? Terjun lah ya. Basically, you can jump into like what does it take to actually develop a game until finish, those kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. I'm yapping a lot. So thank you for your time.
Okay, please give her a round, yeah, warm round of applause. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Miss Shani, for that inspiring, insightful presentation. Um, so many, I got it. Like this data mining, we found a very diamond or gold. Yeah, I think we had we come to get the knowledge mining from you. Thank you very much. For summary, I I got some points. The first point, Miss Jenny just share about her journey. Journey is very good, yeah. Very. We are in, maybe most of you are student, yeah, student, and you maybe can take her as a role model. Role model. Start the business, yeah, with your friends, yeah. It's good to make the copy or duplicate for the good things, I think, yeah. And also the she talked about how to balance, yeah, how to balance the company is very good, yeah. the balance is good for everything in the company. Maybe I saw so many product, so many product in your company. Maybe in your when you were as a COO, yeah, you you made many product, yeah, at that time, yeah,
Together
yeah,
with the team lah. Not
yeah,
not not everyone is being done by me, of course.
okay, so many product, and also talk about game industry, and maybe you will follow her to make a new company, and also how to start. Maybe you see, can I start a new company? Or when I have to start, yeah, when I have to start as a worker or as a game artist, or maybe as a business, yeah, business, new businessman girl or just businessman. Okay, so we will open for Q&A sessions. Okay. Um, oh, one I have learned. Okay, thriving in the game industry takes more than just technical skill. That's right. Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
yeah. It's required creativity, teamwork, business strategy, and continuous learning. That's true.
Yes,
Can
yes.
you add for that? Yes.
Mm,
Not just
continuous
I like
learning.
to make a game, or I like to be
No, for
no, not
sure. Yeah,
only that.
because a lot of studios are closing down as well.
Okay.
I think like for for the longest time, a lot of studios closing down, and then a lot of studios coming out, right? Especially in after the pandemic,
After
because
that.
because a lot of new studios also coming out in the pandemic,
Mm,
because in the pandemic there a surge of demand
mm.
in games,
Mm.
because a lot of people staying at home, right?
Okay, okay.
Um, and then after that, post pandemic, because of the like the turbulence happening in the world, um, there are also a lot of studios closing down, and then of course, like there are a lot of reasons for a studios closing down. One of them is probably because the mistake from the internal team, but um, other than that is actually being aware of what's happening. So probably adding a little bit on top of the continuous learning part, where it's not so much on learning how to manage
Yeah.
people, how to like do a proper business pitch and all that, but also because like the world is changing so much
Yeah.
nowadays, especially because of AI.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody knows, right? Like I'm always I'm always anxious as well because of this AI emergence. And then so I think it's even more important than ever for you to like like take a look around, right?
Okay.
And how to navigate your business or your games to be relevant when you do release the game
Okay.
eventually. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I was thinking I have many questions, but I will give to the audience. Yeah, to the audience to ask any question from you, both from the on-site audience or maybe those who joining online. Okay, feel free to raise your hands if you have a question. Just raise your hand, and in a chat maybe they can type, yeah, in a chat room. Okay.
Okay. There's a question from room chat on the meeting Zoom. I have a question from Muhammad Farel. I have a question. I'm interested in the gaming industry, but I have no background in IT and no coding skills. How do I contribute to the industry without this?
So actually now is the best time ever for someone with no IT or coding background to enter the game industry, especially because of AI. Because AI right now can already be a better programmer than humans. So basically, you can use AI basically to do programmings, and of course it still needs a good direction from a human being. So that's why these kind of people can flourish right now, because it's very accessible. And also you can also, aside from that, is working with other people that has technical background. um, yeah, there are a lot of solutions to that. And other than that, probably there's actually the most important thing to be able to survive in the game industry is actually learning how the business work in the game industry, um, and then how the creative process look like on creating a new games, right? And then how you read the market data, and then how you come up with the best pitch that you can have, and then validate to either users or potential partners. All that is, like, it is not about IT or coding at all, actually. So there are a lot of resources online, in YouTube or in paid courses like Agate Academy, where you can learn about the business side of the game industry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Miss Jenny. And the next question comes from Vincentius Sean. I have a query in the gaming industry, a good career to pursue in near future, let's say 2029 until 2030. Will it survive and continue to innovate, or is it considered a more niche industry in today's and or future standards?
So actually, game industry has always been looked as a very risky industry. The reason is because it is a very hit-driven business, similar to like film, where I think like the film industry has been around for probably like almost 100 years. But still, if you talk to your parents and then tell them that you want to be a filmmaker, like most parents will not agree, right? And it's also the case with game industry as well, um, especially because of the all the turbulence that is happening right now. Like a lot of like I mentioned, right? Like even I think like more than before. Right now is I think the most number of studios closing down. I think it is happening like in the past 2-3 years actually, in history. So it is more risky than ever. But I think I believe, right, probably is a bit naive, where as long as you're persistent enough, that you really want to pursue for it, I think you will find a way. Um, Even if you actually, like change your goal, but as long as you persistent enough to, yes, I want to work in the game industry, I think you will find a way eventually. Yeah. So yeah, risky, like even me, like when I started out in 2009, my parents didn't agree, right? Like, why? Right? Why you didn't work in the banking, right? Like with a big salary and all that, or probably back then, a bank probably is the best case. Um, so it will always happen. So that's why I think it depends on how persistent are you to pursue that dream. So it will always be risky. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jenny. And also, maybe there's a question from this on-site participant. Is there any question?
Probably I'm going to add as well. I think I haven't answered the question where which career. Yeah. For the career side, I think in the future, um, being a generalist is the best way to go. For example, uh, like whatever background that you have right now, like either programmer, artist, or all that, um, it is it will have a higher chance of survival if you can expand your capability into like a generalist, for example, business management, and then directing. Not so much on actually making the art, like drawing and making the models, because like it or not, the world right now is shifting into more AI. As much as I hate, to say it, but that is what's happening right now. So like it or not, it will shift to that. So for us as humans, for us to be able to survive, I think we will have better chance of survival if we can expand our capability into more generalist way. And then it means that the career is more into like game producing, game director, because I think like even AI is becoming so much smarter like 5 years from now. Still, like game director, game producing is still something that is very valuable for you to focusing on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jenny. And maybe there's a question from this class. Maybe feel free to raise your hand. I think there's no question. Uh, I read the next question from Muhammad Rafi. I'm interested in various games genres like puzzle, action, racing, platforms. Do you have any suggestion for game types? Are easier for beginners or in starting out phase? Also, I recently heard about making incremental games. What's the best approach to get started?
I think you should start like I mentioned, reading the market trend first. What is gonna be the next trend of demand for games and genre? What will be the underserved genre in the future? I think like in the next 1 2 years, um, and then after that, you match it into what you are passionate about. So what kind of games you like to play, right? Because I think it what makes the difference. Where, for example, if you like puzzle games, then you should focus on look for information of what kind of next puzzle games that will have the demand, like increasing demand in the future. Because it's no point for you to make another puzzle games like Candy Crush. That is the top of mind, right? There is no point because like even the Candy Crush developer cannot make the next Candy Crush, right? Like they haven't been able to do that. Like moreover, like us, like outside of the company, outside of the developer. So yeah, I think that's the most immediate thing. And then sorry, like market, and then match with your passion, and then after that, go for it. Like make a demo, make a prototype, and then you release that publicly. Then you can have like a validation from the real users, and then that also will really motivate you to continue to do more because you will learn so much from that experience, and then you will do better next time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your good answer, but we have no time to continue. But permit me to ask maybe one question about healthcare. Do you think you can produce such a product for healthcare for patient in hospital? Maybe they can get uh, more healthy after play game or like that, gamification like that. Because in our time, if your parents maybe still in hospital room, they saw the TV and the news very bad, and maybe they can play your product.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, because I think like right now the technology is enabling us to do that in terms of like detection of movement and all that. I think it's possible. And then I think for healthcare, as based on our experience, I think the main obstacle would be how to convince the hospitals and like because there are a lot of things that need to be improved in our experience in the hospital, and I think it's just not their priority right now. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I think like in of course that you can always do like bring your own game inside the hospital room, right? Yeah, that's I think the best that we can do for now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry we have to finish our session today, and thank you very much for your apa bersemangat ya, very semangat ya dalam hal ini. Thank you again, Miss Shani Aprilia. We will close. Maybe I will give to this time for Michelle.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Devi, and especially Miss Jenny for the sharing session. And Venusians, that all concludes this session. Thank you for your kind attention and active participation in the discussion. We hope you found this seminar inspiring to you guys. Finally, remember to fill the exit ticket and the evaluation form before leaving the seminar's venue because this is essential for attendance verification and to receive your e-certificate and SAT points. Please scan the barcode and to inform you, we still have other international seminars for you participate within Venus Festival International Seminar of semester 2025.1. You can scan the barcode on the screen to register for more international event. And Venus Internationalization Office organize various international seminars, guest lectures, and workshops. So you can check and subscribe to our channel, our Instagram and Telegram that are displayed on the screen. Yeah, you scan the barcode, but please don't forget to scan the barcode for exit ticket because if you don't feel it right, you don't get the SAT point or e-certificates. Is there any of you having a trouble while filling out the form? Maybe feel free to raise your hand if you're having trouble. Teman-teman, kalau ada yang kesusahan, boleh langsung angkat tangan aja. Dan mungkin kalau ada yang udah. Okay, once again, thank you so much, Miss Shani, for sharing session. And Mr. Devi. And see you on the next event.
Cuma Aqua yang 100.
Oke, teman-teman, ada yang udah? Boleh angkat tangan yang udah? Oh, udah semua ternyata. Oke. Boleh kalau gitu, terima kasih banyak teman-teman.